I can't think of a more cheerful way to greet the spring than with clumps of crocuses and daffodils. This is a group of early flowering crocus surrounding daffodil tete-a-tete that it's just allowed to naturalize over the last couple of years, and for me they epitomize spring. And now for a quick catch up with the hyacinths in water. This was in December, but unfortunately they didn't all flower together. Now looking here you can see it's about 7.5 centimeters long, 3 inches, and now it's opened up a little bit more, letting the flower bud emerge. And here you see the finished specimen with the various stages as well in front. And when the display is finally over, you will end up with something like this, and you can either plant it in the garden or put it on the compost heap. I haven't got a very large garden, but one way I can increase the display is by growing plants in pots. And by cramming as many bulbs into a pot as you can also increase the flowering power. And this is something I did back last autumn when I crammed 30 bulbs of daffodil golden harvest into a 7.5 litre or 10-inch flower pot. And you put them in a couple of layers, and then you stand them outside all during the winter time, and by the turn of the new year they look like this. The shoots would have grown to about 2.5 centimetres, 1 inch long, and they'll stay like this all through February. And then in early March they begin to motor along, the flower buds are produced. They bend over like this, and within 10 days they will give you a display like this. Just don't forget to water and feed them with something like tomato fertilizer every week. Now for some of the little beauties that I grow. These are all grown in pots, and I keep them in pots, but what you must do is to make sure that during the summertime you water them, once again feeding them with tomato fertilizer to build the bulbs up ready to give you a display the following season. I try to change them from year to year, and this is one of my favourites, which is the Oxford Gold, which is known as a hoop petticoat daffodil. You can understand why. And usually you get these whites towards the end of the season, and to start the season, one of my favourites of all time, which is Narcissus February Gold. A stunner. And for the best display of all, group them together on the patio, the pots, and you can always pull them out and put them to one side when they go over, because as in the garden, in the patio, daffodils are followed by tulips. As with the daffodils, I cram some tulip bulbs into a pot, once again multi-layered, just to give exactly the same effect. 3 different varieties, 3 different colours, and they're all grown quite well now. And we're up to the point where you can just see the bud emerging. Tulips are much more formal than daffodils, and they're excellent for bedding, bringing great big blocks of colour to the garden. They begin flowering during early April, continuing until late May, really extending the season into summer. They're great for growing in pots, and if you have a windy garden, then it's best to go for the shorter, stronger stem types. But you can plant them out in the garden afterwards if you wanted to, and just let them naturalize, and you'll get bunches of tulips popping up in the garden every year. It's just surprising you with the height and range of colour that they have. One thing to remember is daffodils require early planting during August, and tulips require late planting as late as November. So you needn't rush the job, but just make sure you get your order in first before they're all snapped up. If you really enjoy a bulb fest, check out the Keukenhof website. They have a virtual tour of their gardens this year. I'll enclose a link at the end for you. Diolch, and thank you for watching. Goodbye for now, but if you would like to see any more, please hit the subscribe and like buttons.